Morning YouTubes, Kenny here. Just arrived at a fishing location. I'm here on the River Tummel. This is a wee deep that I've never fished for must be a couple of years now, but when it fishes well it's very good. I'm expecting the river level to be extremely low, but a day out, weather looks like it might brighten up, nice time of year, hopefully catch some grayling with a bit of luck. So I'm just about to get geared up, as you can see, got the gear lying here on the ground, about to get geared up and let's get on the river and see what's happening. So the wee fish was back up there with the clink and dink just while I was in that pool. It's not a pool I've ever had a great deal of success in personally, although there's always signs of fish there, and there was certainly salmon moving there today. But I think there was wee fish about, and I think it was pretty much my second cast. I didn't even realise I'd caught some. I did see the indicator go under, but I presumed I'd caught the bottom. And almost as soon as I lifted the rod, it was evident there was a fish on the end of it, but it was tiny. It must have been about that size, just a wee par, I think, probably. And it was only because of the back cast that I realised that there was a fish there, and it flung off. It went flying back into the water again. So not to worry. But never had any other offers there. So I've come down to a bit that I prefer. I would normally fish this with a French leader, and I'm probably going to, but because I've got the clink and dink set up now, I want to give it a fish through with this first and give everything the benefit of the doubt, and then if that fails, onto the French leader, and we'll get the heavy bugs on, see how we get on. There's a lot more pace to the water than I was expecting, so it's quite good. Let's see how we get on. I've not fished the whole bit. I fished maybe about 20 yards. You just want to see how it's, if anything's going to take using the method you're doing. And I have to say, I think I can see sort of a couple of problems. One is that I think the water's deeper where than you would think. I mean, I'm up to my knees there. It's quite bouldery. If you've ever fished the Tummel or you don't know it, even it's quite a tricky wading river. I wouldn't want to say hard, but you have to be careful. You imagine the bottom's made of the same boulders as you can see looking around here, so there's a lot of holes, and it's not the most stable place to stand at times. Your feet are rolling off rocks at times, but there are worse. But I would always bring a wading staff. Generally speaking, I would have a life preserver, but given that the water's so low, I kind of never really gave that much thought today. I probably should have, but definitely a wading staff when you're here. But no, coming back to the subject, the water's only where I'm fishing is at knee deep, and I'm fishing with the wee nymph about 18 inches to 20 inches underneath the fly. It's probably too shallow Now I've got two options. One is to put a longer length tippet on in between the indicator fly and the nymph, or just go on to a method that bounces off the bottom, and I think I'm probably going to do the latter. I think looking at, I'm not seeing anything rising, nothing's came up for the indicator fly, so I suppose that in a sense that sort of annuls that as a method at the moment. Might be something I want to come back to later if it warms up, because it's quite a nice day really. So I'm going to re-rig. I'm going to put the French leader on and fish it with some heavy bugs, make sure I'm getting on the bottom here, and see if, just really make sure if there's any fish here or not. Right, so I just wanted to mention what I'm going to do here. I was going to put the French leader on, but I've decided I'm going to cheat, because this is a method I've never really used before, but it's a handy one for giving you two methods off the one spool, if you like, off the one reel without having to change lines. Normally the French leader you just tie it onto a bit backing and there's no line as such on your reel, but this here allows me to go back to the line if I need to, if I want to go back dries or clink and dink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this stuff now. This I don't claim any credit for coming up with this as an idea. It's an old fishing acquaintance who sadly passed away earlier this year that came up with this as an idea, and it's quite a good idea. Is this stuff, which is Daiwa carp tapered leaders. Now the big long tapered leaders, they're 9 metres long, and the taper from £30 down to £12. So what I'm going to do is I've put that on the end of my line using a perfection loop just to loop it on the end, and then I've got some real two-tone indicator. I'll put a length of that on, and then below that I'll put my tippet of probably £4, something like that, with a couple of bugs on it, and it means that I can just re-rig. It saves me changing reels and everything like that. So let's get this set up and let's see how it fishes, because I don't think I've really used this. I maybe used it once, but I can't really remember, so I'm going to give it a go anyway because I've got them here. Right, so just to recap what this setup is, and I will be honest with you, doing this on a river bank like this where it's boulder after boulder is a nightmare. But so what I've got, if you ever wonder why your flies get snagged on the bottom, you only have to sit on a river bank like this with all the boulders, and your flies are constantly falling down the holes in the stones. It's a nightmare. So here's my point fly, which is a wee red tag nymph, and I've got on a dropper about 2 feet above it a wee black and red with a silver bead perdigan. That's my fishing tackle, if you like. My bait, my flies. I've got about 6 feet of fluorocarbon on here because it's fairly abrasive sort of bottom here, so I'm sticking with fluorocarbon. And then I've got some indicator nylon. Now you didn't need to use indicator nylon, I'm just using it because I happen to have it. You can use any sort of coloured piece of nylon, or even a thick bit, something like £8 normal, if you've got the wax for indicator wax, which I have got in my bag. I've got this stuff with me, I might as well use it. The only thing I will say about this is I would normally put tippet rings on the ends of this and tie out the tippet rings, but I can't find mine. I've got a packet somewhere, but I don't know what I've done with them, so I've just used normal knots. And I would normally, if I'm a wee bit wary of this stuff because I didn't find it ties the best knots, I would probably want to super glue this, but I'm just going to have to go with what I've got, you know. So I've got that, and then it ties on. So I've got quite a big indicator here, probably about 18 inches. It doesn't need to be as big as that, it's whatever suits you. And then because there's quite a step difference in terms, this is £8, this stuff, this indicator nylon, and the tip of the carp leader is £12, and it's normal nylon as far as I can tell. There's quite a thickness difference, and you usually got to be a bit careful doing that. So what I've done is I've tied another perfection loop onto the end of my carp leader on this end, on the hook end, if you like, and I've tied the indicator onto the perfection loop. You know, these are fishing bugs. You're not looking for casting delicacy or perfect power transfer from one end to the other. So you're lobbing these things out. So it should be okay. I'm fairly confident this will hold any fish that I'm going to catch here. So go give this a go, and it's the nylon comes all the way back onto the spool because it's 9 meters long, so it's longer than the rod. So effectively I'm fishing a French leader, but I've still got my fly line on. So let's go give it a go. So I've been fishing this wee corner here. Down there it's really fast. It's not that deep, but it's really fast, and it's hard. So I came up into this more sort of gentle water, which looks, you know, like it should hold fish off the current. And right enough, just down there, in fairly shallowish water actually, I got a brown, fairly small brown. But welcome nonetheless. And then I've had several knocks, but I've always been quite close in. Because of the pace of the water, and because I wanted to fish something smaller, I've gone out a 3-fly cast. So I've got 3 smaller flies rather than a heavy one and something else. So it was my point fly that took the brownie there. So wee orange bead, green sort of bug. So we'll keep fishing here, keep fishing up towards the corner, see how we get on. Well, it's mid-afternoon now. It's been hard going, but one fish, nothing huge, but one fish. I'm going to try a couple of more wee bits, or have a wee look at them anyway. I don't know what it's like further down here. I have fished down this bit before, but I don't think I've been any further. I suspect it'll probably be fairly shallow and fairly fast, and that might be a bit of a problem, but we'll have a look. There's other anglers here now on the bank up this side, I notice. So maybe if I see it all fade, if I did enjoy it, let's go try
had a feeling it would be tricky because the river's, according to the river gauge, is at its summer lows, so it's never going to be easy. There's more water than I anticipated, though, I've got to be honest. You know, there's enough water to fish in these bits. But it's been hard trying to find any fish. One brownie for the day, and a couple of small par and a wee grayling. I was just looking there on a message board that I follow, and somebody was saying that they were out here yesterday and had a very similar day, albeit that they ended their day with catching a whopping big sea trout. So that was a bit of a nice ending to a day. Could have done with one of them myself, but not to worry. These things are rare but welcome when they come along, and I suppose that's why it's called fishing and not catching, as they say. The old ones are the best. So I'm going to get my gear together here now and start heading back to the car, and hopefully get home in time for, well, it won't be tea and medals, I think it'll be tea and condolences. Not to worry, it's been an enjoyable day. I really enjoyed it. It's been lovely. It's just a beautiful temperature and nice weather, good conditions. Just could do with some fish showing up, but that's the way it is. So catch you later. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe down at the wee buttons down below, and I'll catch you next time.